you imagine a world where the Parliament of Great Britain did not exist? Where would decisions be made? Who would make them? These questions may seem absurd today, but there was a time when the formation of this institution was anything but certain. The Parliament of Great Britain was formed in the merry month of May 1707. This followed the ratification of the Acts of Union by both the Parliament of England and the Parliament of Scotland. The Acts cemented the Treaty of Union, birthing a new unified kingdom of Great Britain and establishing a new parliament in the former home of the English Parliament, the Grand Palace of Westminster, a stone's throw away from the City of London. For nearly a century, this parliament presided over the affairs of the kingdom. However, the winds of change blew once more in 1800 with the Acts of Union. This legislation merged the separate British and Irish parliaments into a single parliament of the United Kingdom, effective from the first day of January 1801. Following the Treaty of Union in 1706, Acts of Union ratifying the treaty were passed in both the Parliament of England and the Parliament of Scotland. This laid the groundwork for the enactment of the Treaty of Union, which gave birth to the Parliament of Great Britain. The traditions, procedures, and standing orders of the English Parliament were retained, with the incumbent officers and members representing England forming the majority of the new body. However, the prominence of England in the new Parliament was, and remains, a contentious issue. As the 18th century rolled on, the power dynamics shifted. With the ascension of the Hanoverian King George I to the British throne in 1714, real power continued to move away from the monarchy. George I, a German ruler with a poor grasp of English, was more interested in governing his dominions in continental Europe rather than in Britain. He thus entrusted power to a group of his ministers, the main one being Sir Robert Walpole. By the end of George I's reign in 1727, the minister's position, who had to rely on Parliament for support, was solidified. George II, George I's successor, continued his father's domestic policies and made little effort to re-establish monarchical control over the now Parliament-dominated government. By the end of the 18th century, the monarch still held considerable sway over Parliament, but had ceased to exert direct power. At general elections, the vote was restricted to freeholders and landowners, in constituencies that had barely changed since the Middle Ages. This led to the rise of rotten and pocket boroughs, where seats could be bought, while major cities went unrepresented. In summary, the Parliament of Great Britain emerged from the unification of the English and Scottish parliaments in 1707, and later incorporated the Irish Parliament in 1801. The institution underwent significant transformations over the 18th century, with power gradually shifting from the monarchy to the ministers. Despite these changes, the Parliament was not without its issues, including limited voter representation and the dominance of England within the Union. This history, filled with power plays and political maneuvering, shaped the Parliament of Great Britain into the institution we know today. It is a testament to the enduring power of democracy and the continuous evolution of governance.